Hello and good afternoon, Joanna and Dawn.
Good afternoon, Yoann. I'm happy to meet you in person, in the digital world, of course.
Yes, so three digital nomads on well, at least two different parts of the world.
See, northern and southern hemisphere.
Yes.
Two different continents. Yeah.
So Dawn,
three different time zones.
you are in Argentina?
I am for now.
Buenos Aires. Are you on a boat?
No.
Oh.
No,
and she's very happy about it.
I'm ecstatic to be on land.
Okay, so maybe you can introduce yourself quickly.
Okay. Well, I'm Dawn Bates. Depending on how people know me, it will either be as an author coach or as a coach or a business mentor, as a sailor, tea drinker, mother, sister, whatever. Lots of labels. I don't tend to buy into any of them. I'm just me, Dawn. International best-selling author. I'm currently sailing around the world, researching for my next series of books, The Mermaid's Guides. And yeah, it's an interesting journey. I spend most of my time at sea when I'm not in quarantine.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. And we also have Joanna, which is in Athens, Greece, right?
Yes, I'm in Athens, Greece. Hello, everyone. This is Joanna VAIOU, and I'm a search engine optimization specialist. So my job is to help brands rank on top page of Google organically with different mediums like text, videos, Google Maps pages, and other types of contents. And I'm also partial digital nomad, which means because I don't have a regular office with employees, I'm a personal brand on my own. I work from home. My business is totally remote, so I can do it from anywhere in the world. And I also found out when I was 28 that traveling is great for me because it makes me a totally different person and more and stronger and more passionate about life. And it takes me forward. Traveling takes me forward. I love it as an experience. It has changed my life because through traveling, I met people that I would never meet in Greece. And I saw that other types of lives are possible. And if I never went out, I would never have experienced that. This is possible for me. So I did that. I met my first digital nomad when I traveled to Barcelona 8 years before. And I saw, he taught me that, you know, this is possible. You can do it too. And it was great for me because back then I was very suppressed growing up. And I was told that as a woman, I can't travel by myself. I can't leave home without my husband or whatever. So it was like, yeah, people are more free here and people can travel and I'm a woman and I can also take myself and take me on a plane with my own money without anyone, you know, supporting me because I'm capable enough to support myself and smart enough to support myself. It was great that I met other people like me and that gave me strength because, yeah. The environment from which I come from, it's not at all encouraging of all this modern stuff. Not at all. So yes, it changed my life from the people I met, and I saw that things are possible.
So how did you meet?
How we met with Dawn?
Yes.
We met on LinkedIn, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Dawn had
I think it was my my catchphrase. Come on, ladies, grab life by the ovaries. That really.
Yeah, I think that Dawn has. You had seen my cover picture. I had a bold cover picture, like.
See, yes, yeah. Anyone that's got an ocean or a boat picture, like straight, grabs my attention. I have the soul of a mermaid, like ocean soul, Corazón azul, as we say here in Argentina. I have a blue heart, I actually walked to the marina the other day, and I hadn't seen the ocean, like the horizon. I mean, for some people this might seem like a bit extreme, but I hadn't seen the ocean for like a couple of months because we've not been allowed to go more than 5 blocks. And I saw the horizon and I burst into tears. I heard the seagulls. I was like, oh my God, like, because I'd sailed along that horizon just a few months ago. So yeah, whenever I see oceans or boats with people, I'm like, oh, are they sailors? Are they ocean people too? Because most people just stay on the beach, drink their beer, or they drink their gin and tonic, and they look at it and they like to sunbathe on the beach. But those of us who cross oceans for fun, yeah.
I look forward to hear about that. See, that's exotic to me. I'm the person who sits and drinks the beer and looks at the sea. But otherwise, I think it's a frightening monster sometimes.
No. Come on, you're in business.
Yes, I am in business, and but I wouldn't call myself that adventurous. I mean, physically adventurous, you know. Really adventurous, and yes, but not physically. I don't do anything extreme, like. But that's what you're here for, and I want to hear about your experience.
Okay. Wow. Where are we going next?
Yeah, so next, let's discuss actually the topic you brought on LinkedIn down not long ago. So what is digital nomadism? What it means? Because some people might have an idea that is different from the reality.
Yeah, I think being a digital nomad, it's, I mean, I wrote an article about it a few months ago. I thought it was last month, but time travel, bend it, shake it, and twist it. It's, for me, it's not just about, because I wanted to make the distinction between being a digital nomad and being work from wherever and location free. Because the location free aspect is you can have a home base and you can go out and work in a cafe, you can go and work in hotels or in conference rooms, or, you know, or on the beach, and make sure you've got a really good laptop for that though. I really do advise. Water and laptops do not work well together. So speaking from experience, and the work from wherever, and what we tend to see is there's a lot of people that will go on an extended holiday, take lots of social media pics, load them on their social media, but they're not really, as we say in the sailing world, when you haul anchor, there's no going, you know, you've gone. Now, for me, a digital nomad is somebody who has cut ties with their home base and has hauled anchor. When I left to do this trip, I signed I have no property now. Everything I own, I carry around the world with me, in waterproof bags, most of them. And for me, being a digital nomad is, as Joanna said, it's about personal growth, it's about business growth, it's about tapping into how resilient you are. And it takes networking to a whole new level, because a lot of these digital nomad events that I've been invited to, people aren't networking. They're there on their phone, like, and it's like, hang on a second, guys, this is a networking event. You can do your social media networking offline, like when you're in your own space, but when you come together, I mean, I haven't been to that many, but being a digital nomad, it's about embracing the old nomadic soul within each of us, the ancient traditions of human beings with modern technology, and creating so much possibility, breaking barriers, breaking stereotypes. As Joanna said, you know, women traveling alone without a husband, goodness me, how dare you even think that's possible, young lady, you know? And like, I rock up to a marina and I'm like, yep, okay, let's go, let's, you know, which ocean are we crossing today? And people just look like, what? And then they find out I've got 2 children who stay at home with their dad, my ex-husband, who fully supports me on this trip. It's about time I took some time for myself, ladies. Take notice of this bit. Because the thing is, we sacrifice ourselves so much for our families, for our businesses, that I think that when we step into the world and the possibility of being a digital nomad, we get to embrace all of who we are, because we have to be a risk taker, we have to be resilient, we have to be adaptable. We step into so many different energies and time zones and cultures, and we have to learn how to communicate differently. The language and the rhythm of life in all these different countries that we go to, if we're not willing to integrate and accept everybody, and I think it actually, one of my favorite catchphrases is, the more we know, the more we learn about others, the more we learn about ourselves. And if we're going to go to another country and we don't learn about the people there, their journey, their history, their anthropological backgrounds, you know, the ancestry of that country, the foods, you know, and how life flows. It's like the ocean, you have to flow.
Absolutely. Every day. Sure.
So yeah, that's my kind of take on it. It's not everybody's, but that's mine.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I agree. For me, to being a digital nomad, it's about spending some time, at least a little bit of time at a place, not going for a weekend somewhere. It's making friends, meeting people, as you said, understanding the local specialties, differences, whatever. But it's about connecting. It's not about working from a hotel. Yeah, I did that as an international consultant for years, like being a Monday, Thursday in another country, hotel at night, office during the day, but not really meeting people. And this is totally different than just going with your backpack. I live only with my luggage for 6 years now, even more, and just staying somewhere as long as you want, meeting people, yes, creating connections, exactly, like we are doing now.
When quarantine's over.
Well, we still do, but remotely, digitally.
It is. It's a beautiful thing when you can connect with people all over the world. You know, someone said to me, and I found this phrase really quite interesting. I feel sorry for you. I was like, what? She goes, well, and I was like, well, like, well, the two things. One was like, oh, you're having to carry all that stuff. I was like, it's a mobile gym. You know, like if I was in the gym, I'd be squatting 40, 50 kilos. I'm carrying it, you know, with me. It's all good. And what was interesting, this lady was really quite large, so she was probably carrying a lot more on her than I was carrying in my luggage. But the other thing was that she goes, you have friends, she goes, you know all these people in all these different countries, but what friends do you have? I was like, whoa, okay. That was a very interesting insight, because for someone who's a transformational coach and using the use of an autobiography as the most transformational tool, the wounding and the limitation that I saw in that comment, I was like, gosh, that was, I have loads of friends. I got homes all over the world, you know. I know I can rock up in any country pretty much now, in any country around the world, and I'm guaranteed a hug that will squeeze the life out of me, and have the most belly laughs that my sides will ache, and we can go for years without speaking and turn up in each other's doorsteps and just carry on just like that, because we've been through so much together as travelers and as sailors. Because the thing is, when you cross oceans and you're in the middle of the ocean and there's no land for days, for weeks, other than the land, sometimes the land beneath you, you know, we're talking fathoms here, you know, the land beneath you is the closest land. You don't see land for weeks, and that's just, oh, blissful. You have to be good friends to do that, because boats get smaller by the second when you're sailing with people you don't like.
Oh, I can imagine what a challenge this might be.
Yeah, you have to learn to keep your mouth shut sometimes, and that was a big challenge for me at the beginning.
So, Dawn, for how long have you been an Ocean digital nomad?
Full time, two and a half years, I think. This time, yeah, for about 2.5 years. I started in New Zealand, did lots of sailing around there. Then I sailed to Vanuatu, then to Australia. Then I was gifted a flight home by an organisation in Australia that does work for women because of the work that I do for women in the world. Because I'd missed a boat crossing, an ocean crossing to Indonesia. People keep telling me either Bali's not ready for me or I'm not ready for Bali. We'll find out one day. And then I went back to the UK, saw my boys for a month, and then set sail from the UK. And I've just finished a 3-month ocean crossing from the Canary Islands, and sailed down to Cape Verde or Cabo Verde, then to Montevideo, then to Las Malvinas, as the Brits call it, the Falkland Islands, and then down into Punta Arenas in Chile. And I've made my way up through Patagonia, because sometimes I am on land, because, you know, what's the point of going to a country if you're not going to go inland and discover the country, the lakes and the mountains? Patagonia. I saw an iceberg.
That must be incredible.
Yeah, but this is the thing about being a digital nomad, right? We're enriching our own life. And as somebody who we fast forward our international global businesses, you know, I've always been a local girl with a global mindset. And I think this is the thing about being a digital nomad. You can be an introvert and build a global brand. You can be that quiet person who doesn't like a lot of crowds, like the city of London or Athens or Paris or so, exactly. You know. I mean, I lived in Cairo during the uprising. That was city enough for me. But you can be that quiet because you spend so much time by yourself. You get to go inwards and you get to be comfortable with who you are and show up however you want to show up. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's a very beautiful gift to give yourself.
For sure. So when are you sailing, by the way? Do you have your own boat, or are you hopping in other people's boats? How does that work?
Well, I'm being a pirate at the moment, not really. I have, during quarantine, I have considered going pirate on many occasions. It's like, oh, there's boats. At the moment, because I'm researching for the Mermaid's Guide to Hitchhiking and the Mermaid's Guide to Leadership, what I'm doing is I'm boat hopping around the world. So I'm looking at how different captains lead their crew, if they're leaders or whether they're just captains. And also learning how different cultures do their sailing and how life in marinas. So at the moment I'm boat hopping and I'm collecting my boat when I get to North America, ready for me to sail back across the Atlantic, or I might just go the other way and go across the Pacific. But yeah, we don't know. I never know where I'm going next, but I know that I'm making my way up through the Americas. And when I get to North America, I pick up my boat and then it's vamos back to New Zealand to complete the circumnavigation. Yay!
Amazing. So when you will get your own boat, will you have some spaces to share?
Yes, I will be gifting back to those, because the thing is when you step onto someone else's boat, you have to remember it's their home a lot of the time. Yes, I've done boat deliveries, and this is something that a lot of ocean nomads don't understand. It's not a free ride. There is work to do on the boat. You are stepping into someone's home and they are gifting you an opportunity to sail with them. you know, and I mean, I always pay my own way. I always pay for all my own food because I'm gluten-free and I'm vegan, and, you know, I'm very fussy about what goes inside my body. But also, and, you know, you have night watches to do. You know, you can't, it's not all sitting on the deck sunbathing with a gin and tonic. You know, you probably only have like 8 hours awake. And in that time, you've got to do the sails, you've got to clean the boat, you've got to make sure everything's working, you're probably doing some helming, and then you sleep for another 4 hours, and then you're awake again. You've got to be really adaptable. And if there is a storm that you're heading into, I mean, what was it, 18 months ago, I went overboard, smashed all my front teeth, and Lorenzo, if he hadn't been on board, I love that guy. He pulled me back on, but we were out in a storm, 6 meter waves, 35 knots of wind on the nose, and we were heading into the wind. Sorry, on the nose is the wind was beating onto the bow of the. So it's you really have to step into your own power when you do this, and really understand that when someone gifts you the opportunity to sail with them, that's an honor in a lot of ways, because like I say, it's their home. They've invested time and effort. Maybe they've worked all their life to be able to save up and buy this boat. Maybe they have, you know, sold everything to buy this boat, and they're allowing you to come on and sail with them and be in their private space.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a truly humbling gift to, I mean, I've sailed with some cracking people, sailed with some nutters as well, but it's all been good. It's all been good.
Well, that's pretty similar for us land-based, like to doing things like couch surfing or you know, staying at other people's places, or it's nothing is for free in this world. When somebody offers you something, I mean, you can kind of have to give a little bit back, cooking, whatever. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
So how long have you been a digital nomad then?
Me?
Yeah.
Or Yoann?
Both of you.
Go on, Joanna.
Me. Okay. Well, my first travel was 11 years ago. I went for 12 days in New York by myself. I met a friend that I had met as a tourist in Athens. It was nice. And well, the digital nomad thing started from 8 years ago. When I started, I went to Barcelona and I met other digital nomads. And I decided that it would be nice if I lived like this. And the first thing to do was to become a specialist in something that would allow me to work 100% remotely. So I can take my laptop and travel whenever I can and whenever I feel like it. Because it takes so much energy. It takes energy. It's other thing to be at home here, comfortable. And, you know, I know where to go, how to go, and it's a different thing to have all this extra energy needed to book tickets, to pack my things, to to be very anxious and very waiting urgently. It's a lot of energy going into each and every travel. So I try to avoid it when I have too many new projects, because a lot of energy is invested there. So it has to do with where I am with my projects. Are my projects in a phase that okay, now I'm chilling, because SEO, you do great work at first when you bring some goals and then you preserve them. So it's a different type of work at the initial, when a project initiates and when a project is 1 year old. It's different. So first priority is always work. So even when I travel, my first priority is to go and find nice cafes that have coffee, food, and fast internet for me to work. This is the first thing I I care about. So I go into cafes and you see the crazy woman looking for plugs in the walls. Where is the table with a plug in the wall? And the first thing I ask is the internet fast enough? Not if you have coffee or what coffee do you have?
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Fast enough. The crazy woman with a laptop. Yes, this is me.
And Joanna, would you have like a tip for somebody that would want to become a digital nomad?
A tip. Yes, I
what
must
would be
say
your...
it many times.
The same to you, Dawn. Same question.
I'll let Joanna go on this one first.
Okay, a tip. Well, you need to have the money for it. Also, again, it depends on how you want to live.
Yep.
I am a private person, so I need my space. I will not go to hostels to share space. I will rent my own Airbnb apartment. And if I go to the places that I don't go to Thailand where it's cheap. I go to Paris, I go to London, I go to Estonia, the capital. Generally, I like capitals. I'm a city woman because, you know, civilization, cafes, restaurants. This is a type of...
I'm so going to kidnap you one day.
No, don't take me to the sea. I know how to swim, by the way, but not deep enough, please. Yeah, I'm a city girl, so I like just walking. I can walk, you know, alone in San Francisco at night and not be afraid. This is my type of adventure. Or go to San Francisco alone from LA with a bus, all by myself, booking an Airbnb apartment like for 1 week alone, and arriving to San Francisco at night, raining. In the day that it's a trick or treat day, and everybody is outside and it's raining and everybody's stressed. And I tried to find a taxi to take me to the Airbnb, and 2 guys stop, and one wants to steal my bag, and then the taxi driver stops and they fight. I have been, yeah, nice things, nice experience. And again, everything went well. And in the end, these 2 little guys, they were very young kids. They were afraid of the large taxi driver that was defending me. The skinny girl from Greece. And yeah, they gave me my bags back because I had my suitcase and the laptop bag. And they tried to take my one bag. And then they gave it back and they said, "You are very beautiful." So I got my compliment as well from the guys that, that wanted to steal me. And yes, this type of
easy.
Land is also adventurous, my dear Dawn.
And
you, Dawn, do you have a tip to share?
Yeah, I think, well, you have to trust. You have to trust yourself to trust others. And I think that, and also to trust the process and that everything is going to work out just as it's supposed to. Because there have been places that I don't stay in hotels very often, because with the work that I'm doing and the research that I'm doing and my audience, you know, some of them don't have a lot of money, some of them have a huge amount of money. And so I've stayed in some places that are very cheap. I've stayed in places that are not so cheap. And I stayed in a hostel for the first time in my life. And I've stayed in a variety of kinds of hostels. And now I've got to the point where it's like, you know what, Airbnb apartments are the way forward.
I agree.
Absolutely. And thank God for Airbnb. You know,
exactly.
You know, it avoids all of the, because obviously there's always moving. You don't have to then worry about permission papers. You don't have to worry about long deposits or like 3-6 month deposits. You don't have to worry about estate agents. Just finding a, and the thing is, when you have to trust your own gut, you know, you have to trust your intuition, because and read the reviews, you know, but don't take them, because we're all different. what someone else might think is an amazing stay, you don't know what deal they've got with that person. They might be, you know, they might have stayed there and given a review because a friend wanted to build up their thing, and, you know, but just trust the process. Trust that you've got this. You know, trust that even with massive projects, you can still move. So I'm going to challenge you there, Joanna. You know, like, even when you've got these big, massive projects that you've got going on, just trust that it's all like, when you feel that call to move, listen to it. You know, and when things don't work out, go, you know what, there's something better planned. That didn't happen for a reason. I was supposed to have 3 boat deliveries to the Caribbean, and not one of them turned up. One, there was a boat delay, then there was weather conditions, and then the wife, when the husband was talking to me about all the things I'm achieving, she got a bit jealous, so that trip kind of, I don't know what your problem is, love. But just trust that when things don't turn out as you want them to, it's because there is something better coming your way. It all comes down to trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting other people, that they're not bad, you know, that they're not trying to rip you off, that they're not out to get something. It all comes down to trust. Absolutely, 100%. And trust that you're going to find a great cafe with great food and amazing internet.
Yep, I agree. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes I'm in a country, I plan to stay for some time, but it doesn't go all according to plan, and I'm like, okay, let's
I'm
just
supposed
move.
to be in Brazil by now, and I'm still in Argentina.
Exactly.
And it's winter. I have no winter clothes. I have nighttime sailing in the tropic kind of clothes, but I have no winter clothes, and all the shops are closed. So I'm like, okay, vest tops it is then, in the middle of winter. It's okay. Layers. It's all good.
So anyway,
temperature's less than 20 degrees though. I'm a tropics kind of girl now.
I'm sure you will find a way. So anyway, ladies, it was nice talking with you. We're
Likewise.
It was
getting
great
to the end.
you too.
We can always make another podcast another time.
Of course, anytime.
So quickly, in a few seconds, if you have anything you would like to promote, your own projects, you have 20 seconds left.
Well, I'm about to launch something called Work the Wanderlust Way. So if people want to get in touch with me about that, they can email me or contact me on social media via LinkedIn or at Real Dawn Bates on Instagram and Bookface.
We will share the links, of course. And you, Joanna?
Of course, yes. Anyone who wants to connect with me and ask me any questions about search engine optimization, you can find me on LinkedIn via my name, Joanna VAIOU. And I have also started a new business, which is I partner with a real estate agency in Greece. And we provide advice and properties to international investors who want the golden visa for Greece and buy property, sell property, and invest in property in Greece. So connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a PM, and let's have fun.
Yeah, we will share the links. Well, thank you both for joining, and it has been very interesting talking with you.
Thank you too.
About digital nomadism. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.